everyone is leaving California, but why have more people been leaving than arriving in recent years? This may come as a surprise for a place that for decades has been described as a dream destination with sunshine, beaches, and endless opportunities. However, the California dream is no longer everyone's dream. People are filling moving trucks, selling their homes, and heading for new horizons at a rate that surprises even lifelong Californians. The big question is, why? California continues to shine in postcards and Hollywood movies, but beneath the surface, reality paints a different picture. It remains the most populous state in the country, but each year sees more departures than the last. What is driving families, professionals, and even retirees to leave such a famous and attractive place? The truth is not found in a single reason, but in several. So let's reveal the 15 reasons, each more unexpected than the last, why everyone is leaving California. Reason 1. The sky-high cost of housing. Housing prices in California have become legendary, and not in a good way. In many regions, especially around Los Angeles, San Diego, and the Bay Area, the average home price surpasses $800,000. Compare that with states like Texas, where the median home price often falls under $300,000, and you see the gap. Renters aren't spared either. A 2-bedroom apartment in San Francisco can cost over $3,500 per month, while in states like Arizona or Nevada, you can find something similar for under $1,500. This imbalance creates a sense of frustration. Even well-paid professionals often feel squeezed, as much of their income goes toward housing. For young families, buying a first home feels like a fantasy, and retirees quickly realize their pensions stretch farther elsewhere. It's not just about luxury or location, it's about affordability and stability. Many Californians move because they can't envision long-term financial security within the state's housing market. Reason 2. High taxes. California is home to some of the highest tax rates in the nation, and this has become one of the most frequently cited reasons people decide to leave. The state income tax alone tops out at over 13% for high earners, the highest in the United States. But the impact is not limited to the wealthy. Even middle-income households feel the squeeze, since brackets are steep and cumulative. Beyond income taxes, Californians face sales taxes that often hover between 7 and 10% depending on the city, which significantly increases the cost of everyday essentials. Property taxes, though somewhat limited by law, are still substantial when tied to California's inflated home values, meaning that a modest house in Los Angeles or San Jose can bring annual tax bills that rival a mortgage in another state. By contrast, residents who move to states such as Nevada, Texas, or Florida find no state income tax at all, which immediately puts more money back into their pockets. For small business owners or remote workers, that difference can translate into thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars in annual savings. Families notice that groceries, fuel, and services feel less burdensome without California's heavy tax load stacked on top. Many Californians describe the system as paying a premium simply for the privilege of living there, a premium that doesn't always guarantee better schools, safer neighborhoods, or smoother infrastructure. Over time, this financial pressure builds, making relocation to lower tax states an increasingly logical and appealing option. Before continuing, be sure to subscribe and leave your like to discover hidden stories, facts, and curiosities about each U.S. state that no one else tells. Reason 3. Wildfires and natural disasters. California's climate, once seen as a dream, has also become a liability. Every year, news headlines are filled with massive wildfires that destroy homes and force thousands to evacuate. Insurance companies have even started pulling back from offering coverage in high-risk areas, leaving homeowners scrambling for protection. Add earthquakes into the mix, along with droughts and rolling blackouts, and the picture becomes even more complicated. Residents often ask themselves, why am I paying so much to live somewhere where my house could literally go up in flames? The constant threat of natural disasters not only stresses residents, but also drives up the cost of insurance, utilities, and reconstruction. It's a practical reason, but a deeply emotional one too. But people want peace of mind, and increasingly, California doesn't offer it. Reason 4. Homelessness and urban challenges. Walk through downtown Los Angeles, San Francisco, or even parts of Sacramento, and the reality is unavoidable. Homelessness has reached the level of a humanitarian and urban crisis. Sidewalks lined with tents, makeshift shelters under overpasses, and sprawling encampments in public parks are no longer rare sights. They have become part of the everyday landscape in many cities. This issue is deeply complex, involving mental health struggles, addiction, a lack of affordable housing, and systemic gaps in social support. Yet regardless of the causes, the visible scale of homelessness has become one of the most pressing challenges affecting residents and visitors alike. The impact extends far beyond those experiencing homelessness. Public safety concerns rise when encampments grow. Sanitation becomes an issue when basic facilities are unavailable, and the perception of disorder affects how people feel about living, working, or even visiting urban centers. Businesses in downtown areas often see customer traffic decline, as shoppers and tourists sometimes avoid neighborhoods that feel unsafe or neglected. Families commuting through city streets worry about their children's exposure to these conditions, while workers face additional stress navigating navigating crowded, deteriorating public spaces. Many Californians express compassion for the individuals affected, but frustration with what they view as ineffective policy responses. Despite billions spent on housing programs and services, the crisis persists, leaving residents questioning where their tax dollars are going. Combined with already high living costs, this growing issue contributes to a perception that California's cities are losing their livability and vibrancy. For some longtime residents, the daily reminder of urban struggles becomes overwhelming. Faced with a declining quality of life, many ultimately decide that leaving the state for a community with fewer visible social challenges is the only solution. Reason 5. Traffic and commute times. California has some of the most congested roads in the nation. In Los Angeles, commuters often spend more than 100 hours a year stuck in traffic. That's like taking 2.5 weeks of vacation and spending it in your car. San Francisco and San Diego aren't much better. Public transit exists, but it's limited compared to systems in other major metropolitan areas. For example, New York City's subway system, despite its flaws, can get millions of residents across the city efficiently. California's cities, spread out and car-dependent, simply don't offer that alternative. Long commutes drain energy, eat into family time, and make everyday errands exhausting. Many who move away list finally escaping traffic as one of the greatest perks of relocating. Reason 6. Cost of everyday living. It's not just housing and taxes. Groceries, gas, and utilities are also expensive in California. Gasoline consistently ranks among the highest priced in the nation, often over $5 per gallon. Food costs run higher than the national average, in part due to supply chain expenses and labor regulations. Even basics like electricity and water often cost more, especially during heat waves or drought seasons. When families calculate their monthly expenses, the difference between living in California and somewhere like Idaho or Texas can be hundreds or even thousands of dollars per month. That's money that could go towards savings, vacations, or simply breathing easier financially. People leave because they want a lifestyle that doesn't constantly feel financially restrictive. Reason 7. Business environment. California has long been home to innovation and entrepreneurship, but running a business here can be complicated. The state's regulatory environment is strict, with high labor costs, compliance requirements, and environmental regulations. While many of these rules have good intentions, they also increase the cost of doing business. Small businesses in particular struggle to survive under these conditions. That's one reason why so many companies have relocated their headquarters to states like Texas, Arizona, and Tennessee. When businesses leave, jobs leave with them. Employees often follow, resulting in a ripple effect where entire industries begin shifting out of California. The business climate, once the envy of the nation, is now a reason for departure. Reason 8. Political climate and policies. California is widely recognized for its progressive policies, and while many residents embrace these initiatives, others feel increasingly out of sync with the direction of the state. Topics like strict environmental regulations, ambitious climate goals, housing laws, and public safety policies generate constant debate. Supporters argue these measures protect the environment, promote equity, and prepare the state for future challenges. Critics, however, often see them as restrictive, costly, or misaligned with their personal values. For business owners, especially small and mid-sized enterprises, the political climate can feel stifling. Regulations on labor, emissions, and taxes sometimes make it difficult to compete or expand, pushing some entrepreneurs to look towards states with fewer restrictions. Families, on the other hand, may find themselves at odds with education policies or curriculum standards they feel do not reflect their beliefs. Even everyday residents can feel the weight of political disagreements, from debates on housing development and zoning to public safety strategies in major cities. What makes California's political atmosphere challenging is not just the policies themselves, but the intensity of the discussion surrounding them. People who disagree with the dominant political culture may feel their voices are overlooked. For these individuals, the issue is less about being on the left or right and more about whether they feel represented, respected, and supported where they live. Increasingly, some Californians conclude they would rather relocate to a place where the policies and cultural climate align more closely with their lifestyle and values. So far, we've looked at 8 strong reasons why people leave California, from skyrocketing housing costs to political climate differences. Notice how the issues build on each other. High housing costs and taxes already stretch wallets. Add natural disasters and commuting headaches, and you create stress on daily life. Layer in urban challenges like homelessness or strict business rules, and suddenly, moving away seems less like a difficult choice and more like the only logical one. We've only scratched the surface. There are still 7 more powerful reasons to cover that paint the full picture of California's exodus. Reason 9. Education system concerns. California has world-class universities like Stanford, UCLA, and UC Berkeley, but when it comes to K-12 education, the story is less impressive. Public schools often rank in the middle or lower tier compared to other states, and funding challenges mean that class sizes are large and resources stretched thin. Parents frequently express frustration with overcrowded classrooms, outdated facilities, and inconsistent performance depending on the district. Education is one of the main drivers for families when they choose where to live. States like Massachusetts, Virginia, and Minnesota often outperform California in standardized test scores and graduation rates. Parents who want their children to have smaller classes, stronger academic support, or specialized programs sometimes relocate to states that can provide those options. The irony is that while California shines in higher education, many families feel they need to leave just to secure a stronger foundation for their children. Before moving on to the next one, you can subscribe to the channel and leave your like so you'll be a more cultured person and learn facts about your country that few people know, even those who live there. Reason 10. Crime and public safety. Public safety has become another sticking point for many Californians. While crime rates vary widely across the state, certain urban areas have seen rises in theft, burglary, and violent crime. For example, property crimes in San Francisco have been a persistent issue, with reports of car break-ins becoming so frequent that some residents joke about leaving their windows rolled down to avoid broken glass. Beyond statistics, it's also about perception. When residents no longer feel secure walking at night or worry constantly about their property, that shapes their quality of life. Other states may not be crime-free, but many offer communities with a stronger sense of safety and lower day-to-day anxiety. That's a huge motivator for families, retirees, and even professionals who simply want to live in a place where safety isn't a constant concern. Reason 11. Water shortages and droughts. California's relationship with water is complicated. Much of the state is naturally arid, yet it supports tens of millions of residents, massive agriculture, and sprawling cities. Years of recurring drought have led to water restrictions, rising utility bills, and a sense of uncertainty about the future. Residents have become used to drought emergencies, mandatory conservation, and even the possibility of fines for overuse. This problem isn't just about lawns or gardens. Farmers in the Central Valley, the heart of California's agricultural output, have had to cut back production at times, which drives up food costs statewide. Households feel the pinch when their water bills rise and their options shrink. Some residents, tired of the never-ending drought cycle, move to states with more consistent water resources, like Oregon or Washington. It's not glamorous, but water security plays a major role in quality of life. Reason 12. Rising cost of energy. California has ambitious environmental goals, which means utilities and energy companies are under pressure to transition to cleaner sources. While that sounds good in theory, the reality for many households has been higher energy bills and rolling blackouts during peak demand. In some regions, average electricity rates are among the highest in the country. For residents living in older homes without energy-efficient systems, summer cooling or winter heating becomes expensive. Add in the fact that California gasoline prices consistently run well above the national average, and the picture worsens. Families compare what they're paying in California to what friends or relatives pay in neighboring states, and the difference often feels staggering. That comparison leads to a common question: why pay more when you can have the same comfort for less somewhere else? Reason 13. Limited space and overcrowding. California's beauty is undeniable, but so is its density. Major cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and San Jose are not only expensive, but also crowded. High population density means congested neighborhoods, packed schools, and limited green spaces in many urban areas. Residents who crave space, a larger yard, quieter streets, less crowded stores, often find themselves priced out of such luxuries within California. In contrast, when those same residents move to states like Idaho or Montana, they're shocked at how much land they can afford. Even in growing metro areas of Texas, buyers often find homes with backyards larger than what they could dream of in California for a fraction of the cost. Overcrowding also ties back to traffic and infrastructure strain, leaving many Californians feeling that daily life is too stressful, too cramped, and not worth the hassle. Reason 14. Shifting job markets. While California remains a hub for tech, entertainment, and agriculture, the job landscape has been shifting. Some industries are relocating or expanding elsewhere due to costs and regulations. Major companies including Tesla, Oracle, and Hewlett-Packard have moved headquarters to states like Texas. When employers leave, employees often follow. Remote work has also changed the equation. During the pandemic, many professionals realized they no longer needed to live near Silicon Valley or downtown Los Angeles to keep their jobs. If they could work remotely while paying half as much for housing and daily expenses in another state, the choice became obvious. California's role as a magnet for ambitious workers isn't disappearing, but it is weakening as more opportunities spread across the nation. Reason 15. Quality of life and stress. At the end of the day, most of the reasons people leave boil down to one thing: quality of life. Even with beaches, mountains, and great weather, the stress of daily survival in California wears people down. Long commutes, financial strain, and a sense of instability from natural disasters and housing insecurity create a constant background pressure. Quality of life is subjective, but thousands of Californians report that moving out has given them more peace of mind, more time with family, and more disposable income. For many, leaving isn't about rejecting California's beauty, but about choosing balance. They want to enjoy life without feeling that every decision is weighed down by cost, stress, or uncertainty. In other words, they're not running away from California's scenery. They're running toward a calmer, more sustainable lifestyle elsewhere. Now that we've seen the 15 reasons why people are leaving California, the big question arises: where are all these people going? The popular destinations for former Californians. When Californians pack their bags, they don't scatter randomly. Migration patterns are surprisingly clear. The most common destinations include Texas, Arizona, Nevada, Oregon, Idaho, and Washington. Each offers something that California seems to lack: affordability, space, or simply a slower pace of life. Texas, perhaps the top choice thanks to no state income tax, booming job opportunities in cities like Austin, Dallas, and Houston, and far cheaper housing. For many, the cultural shift feels significant, but the financial benefits outweigh the adjustment. Arizona and Nevada both appeal to Californians for their proximity. You can leave the chaos behind without losing easy access to family or business ties back in California. Las Vegas has seen a surge in Californians who can buy large homes at a fraction of Bay Area prices. Idaho, once overlooked, Idaho has become one of the fastest growing states. Boise in particular has drawn Californians looking for safety, family-friendly communities, and outdoor recreation. Oregon and Washington, these states offer more water security, lush landscapes, and a culture that feels familiar to many Californians, though with lower housing costs outside of their largest metros. What's striking is that most people don't leave chasing glamour. They leave seeking relief from bills, stress, and uncertainty. The impact on receiving states. For the states gaining Californians, the story has two sides. On one hand, the influx brings new energy, diversity, and economic activity. Local businesses benefit from new customers, and housing markets thrive with strong demand. On the other hand, some locals worry about rising housing costs and cultural clashes. In Idaho and Texas, for example, there have been debates about whether Californians are changing the identity of their new communities. Infrastructure in these receiving states is also tested. Roads, schools, and hospitals feel the strain of rapid growth. Yet, unlike California, many of these states still have the land and flexibility to expand more easily. For them, the migration wave is both a challenge and an opportunity. Step back from California for a moment, and the pattern reflects a broader American story. People are increasingly mobile, willing to uproot their lives to chase affordability, security, and comfort. Remote work has only amplified this trend. The old idea of living where the jobs are is shifting to living where life feels sustainable and bringing the job along digitally. California's exodus isn't just about housing prices or water shortages. It's about the larger question of what people value in life. Many are choosing more space over proximity to the beach, lower taxes over political ideals, and peace of mind over glamour. That decision reflects a cultural recalibration in America. The dream isn't about bright lights anymore, but about balance. Who stays and why? Not everyone leaves, of course. Millions remain, and for good reason. High-earning professionals in industries like tech and entertainment can absorb the costs. Retirees with significant savings enjoy the climate and amenities. Some families simply can't imagine living anywhere else, but those who stay often do so with trade-offs. They accept high costs in exchange for opportunities, to inspire, innovate, and influence. But its migration wave is a reminder that even the most iconic places can lose residents if the challenges outweigh the benefits. The California dream isn't dead. It's just being redefined elsewhere, in quieter, more affordable corners of the country where people are building their own golden futures. Now that you know all this, would you live in California or would you leave as most people are doing? We'd love to read your opinion in the comments and see if we agree. But first, be sure to subscribe to the channel and leave your like so you don't miss out on anything that almost no one dares to reveal about the states of the United States. They tolerate traffic for the sake of living near the beach. They manage water restrictions because they love the lifestyle. In other words, staying in California becomes a deliberate choice, not just a default. Looking ahead, California's future. The big question is whether California will adapt. Will housing policy change to make homes more affordable? Will energy reforms ease bills without sacrificing reliability? Will public safety and homelessness see progress? These are the challenges the state must confront if it wants to stem the tide of departures. If reforms succeed, California could once again become a magnet not just for the wealthy or the ambitious, but for everyday families seeking stability. If not, the migration trend may continue, reshaping the state's identity. Either way, California remains a bellwether for the nation, a place whose struggles and successes often foreshadow what other states may face. So why do people move from California? The answer isn't glamorous or mysterious. It's practical. Life there, for many, has become too expensive, too stressful, and too uncertain. The Golden State's shine hasn't disappeared, but it has dulled for those who crave affordability, safety, and breathing room. The 15 reasons we explored, from housing costs and taxes to water shortages and shifting job markets, reveal a common thread. People are searching for balance. They want their money to go further, their families to feel safer, and their daily lives to feel manageable. California can still be paradise for some, but for many others, paradise has shifted to Texas suburbs, Idaho neighborhoods, or Nevada communities where the trade-offs feel worth it. California's story is far from over. It will continue